A black doctor tends to a white millionaire CEO in a coma. But when she suddenly wakes up, Dr. Beckett Rhodes stood in the ICU at Boston General Hospital, reviewing the chart of his most challenging patient, Marlo Sterling, 32, CEO of Sterling Pharmaceuticals, had been in a coma for 6 weeks following a severe car accident. Brain trauma, multiple fractures, internal injuries. She'd been lucky to survive at all. Any change? Dr. Imani Foster, his colleague, asked as she joined him at the nurse's station. Nothing. Same stable but unresponsive status. Her brain activity shows promise, but there's no telling when or if she'll wake up. Her family still pressuring for a transfer? Daily. They want her at a private facility. I keep explaining that moving her could be dangerous, but they don't trust my judgment. Beckett didn't add the obvious, that Marlo's parents, Cordelia and Preston Sterling, barely concealed their discomfort with a black doctor overseeing their daughter's care. He'd been assigned as Marlo's primary physician when she was admitted through emergency. As one of the hospital's top neurologists, it should have been routine. But the Sterlings had demanded, a different doctor. Dr. Halston Kerr, the chief of medicine, had refused. Beckett is the best we have. Your daughter needs the best. Her care stays with Dr. Rhodes. That had been 6 weeks ago. Since then, Beckett had spent hours with Marlo, monitoring vitals, adjusting treatment, talking to her even though she couldn't respond. Research showed coma patients could sometimes hear, so he narrated his procedures, described the weather, shared hospital gossip. You're in Boston General, Miss Sterling. It's October, leaves are changing. You're stable today, vitals strong. Your assistant Waverly brought more flowers. Your room looks like a garden. People care about you. Keep fighting. Nurse Tamsin Cruz appeared. Dr. Rhodes, Miss Sterling's parents are here again, and her business partner, Mr. Vance. They're demanding updates. Beckett sighed. Send them to the conference room. I'll be there in 5 minutes. In the conference room, Cordelia Sterling's expression was cold as Beckett entered. Preston stood by the window, radiating wealthy disdain. Eldridge Vance, Sterling Pharmaceuticals CFO, looked merely concerned. Dr. Rhodes, Cordelia said icily. 6 weeks, no improvement. We want Marlo transferred to a private facility with more experienced specialists. Ms. Sterling's condition is stable. Moving her is risky. Any transport could cause complications. More risky than leaving her in the care of someone clearly out of his depth? Preston's implication was clear. Mr. Sterling, I'm a board-certified neurologist with 12 years of experience. I've successfully treated dozens of coma patients. Your daughter is receiving excellent care. Then why hasn't she woken up? Cordelia demanded. Coma recovery is unpredictable. Some patients wake in days, others take months. The brain heals on its own timeline. We're doing everything medically possible. Everything except transferring her to better care, Preston muttered. I understand you're frustrated, Beckett said carefully. But I promise you, Marlo is my priority. Every decision I make is for her benefit. We'll see, Cordelia said. We're getting a second opinion. If that doctor recommends transfer, we're moving her regardless of your objections. After they left, Beckett returned to Marlo's room. She lay peaceful and still, blonde hair against white pillows, machines monitoring her steady heartbeat. Your family doesn't trust me, he told her quietly, probably because I don't fit their image of who should care for their daughter. But Marlo, I'm good at my job. I'm going to bring you back, I promise. He didn't mention that somewhere in the past 6 weeks, caring for her had become more than professional duty. He'd become invested in her recovery in ways that went beyond medical responsibility. He was starting to care about Marlo Sterling, deeply, and that was a problem he didn't know how to solve. Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. It happened on a Tuesday morning during Beckett's routine rounds. He was checking Marlo's vitals, adjusting her IV, talking to her as usual. Morning, Marlo. Weather's clearing up. Might actually see sun today. Your assistant brought you that book you were supposedly reading, some business strategy thing. Very CEO of you. Your brain activity's been increasing lately. That's encouraging. Keep fighting your way back. He was updating her chart when he heard it. A small sound, almost a whisper. He turned quickly. Marlowe's fingers were moving. Her eyelids fluttered. Marlowe? Can you hear me? Beckett hit the call button. I need Dr. Foster and Nurse Cruz in ICU room 4, stat. Marlowe's eyes opened slowly, unfocused and confused. She looked around the room, trying to orient herself. Then her gaze landed on Beckett. Where am I? Her voice was rough from disuse. You're at Boston General Hospital. You were in a car accident 6 weeks ago. You've been in a coma. I'm Dr. Rhodes, your neurologist. Can you tell me your name? Marlowe. Marlowe Sterling. She blinked, processing. 6 weeks? Yes. It's October 15th. You were in an accident on September 1st. Do you remember anything about the accident? I was driving. Someone ran a red light. Then nothing. Her eyes focused more clearly on him. You're my doctor? I am. You've been in my care since admission. Imani rushed in, followed by Tamsin. As they began standard neurological assessments, Beckett watched Marlowe's reactions carefully. Her responses were appropriate, memory seemed intact, motor functions responsive. This is excellent, Miss Sterling, he said once initial tests were complete. You're showing no signs of cognitive impairment. We'll do more comprehensive testing, but initial results are very promising. My family, do they know I'm here? They've been here daily. We'll call them immediately. Marlowe, I need you to rest. Your body's been through severe trauma. Recovery will take time. How bad was it? Bad enough that you're lucky to be alive. But you're going to be fine. I'll make sure of it. After ensuring Marlowe was stable, Beckett stepped out to call her parents. Cordelia answered on the first ring. Mrs. Sterling, this is Dr. Rhodes. Your daughter's awake. The gasp was audible. She's conscious? When? How is she? She woke about 20 minutes ago. Initial assessments are very positive. She's oriented, coherent, memory intact. She's asking for you. We'll be there in 10 minutes. Dr. Rhodes, Cordelia's voice cracked. Thank you for not giving up on her. The gratitude was genuine, but loaded. It reminded Beckett that the Sterlings had doubted him from day one, had wanted him replaced, had questioned his competence based on assumptions that had nothing to do with his medical expertise. When they arrived, Beckett briefed them outside Marlowe's room. She's doing remarkably well. No apparent cognitive deficits, motor functions responsive. We'll continue monitoring, but I'm cautiously optimistic about full recovery. Can we see her? Preston asked. Of course, but keep the visit brief. She needs rest. As they entered, Beckett heard Marlowe's weak voice. Mom, Dad. Cordelia was crying. Preston was visibly shaken, and Beckett felt a strange pang, relief that Marlowe had family who loved her, jealousy that he wasn't part of that intimate circle, worry about what her recovery meant for the connection he'd felt while caring for her unconscious form. He'd spent 6 weeks talking to a woman who couldn't respond. Now she was awake, and everything was different. Now he'd have to maintain professional distance from a patient he'd started to care about far too much. Over the next week, Marlowe's recovery progressed rapidly. She regained strength, began physical therapy, started remembering details of her life before the accident. But something was different. The way she looked at Beckett, the attention she paid when he entered her room, the questions she asked. Dr. Rhodes, were you my doctor the whole time I was in the coma? I was. Why do you ask? Because I remember your voice. Not clearly, but I remember someone talking to me, telling me about the weather, about hospital gossip, about flowers in my room. That was you. Beckett felt exposed. Research suggests coma patients can sometimes hear. I talked to you during examinations. What did you say? Medical updates mostly. Encouragement. Nothing remarkable. It felt remarkable, like someone was anchoring me, keeping me from drifting away completely. Was that you? Marlowe, I was your doctor. Talking to you was part of your care. It felt like more than that. Before Beckett could respond, Waverly Nash, Marlowe's assistant, arrived with business papers. I know Dr. Rhodes said no work yet, but the board is demanding updates. Sterling Pharmaceuticals is in crisis without you. What kind of crisis? Eldridge is making decisions without board approval. Granger showed up claiming you'd promised him equity before the accident. It's a mess. Granger Ellis, Marlowe's ex-fiancée, who'd broken off their engagement a year ago. Beckett had heard about him from Cordelia's complaints that Marlowe should reconcile. Granger has no claim to anything, Marlowe said firmly. Waverly, tell Eldridge I'll be back in the office within 2 weeks. I need to shut down whatever chaos is happening. After Waverly left, Beckett intervened. Marlowe, you're not going back to work in 2 weeks. You need months of recovery. I don't have months. My company is being dismantled while I'm stuck in this hospital bed. Your health is more important than your company. You don't understand. Sterling Pharmaceuticals employs 2,000 people. If it collapses, those people lose their livelihoods. I can't let that happen because I'm too weak to fight. You're not weak. You survived a catastrophic accident and came out of a 6-week coma with no brain damage. That's strength. But pushing too hard too fast could cause setbacks. Is that worth risking? Marlowe was quiet. You really care about my recovery. Why? Because I'm your doctor. Your health is my responsibility. Is that all? The question hung between them. Loaded, dangerous, crossing lines that shouldn't be crossed. That's all, Beckett said carefully. Now rest. Doctor's orders. That evening, Dr. Sutton Hayes, Beckett's friend and fellow neurologist, cornered him in the break room. You're getting too attached to the Sterling woman. I'm not attached. I'm invested in her recovery. Beckett, I've known you 10 years. I see how you look at her. You've crossed from professional care into personal investment. That's dangerous. She's my patient. Who's a white millionaire CEO from a family that didn't trust you to treat her because of your race? And you're falling for her. Do you not see the problem? I'm not falling for her. Then why have you been at the hospital 16 hours a day for 6 weeks? Why do you check on her between shifts? Why did you fight the family when they wanted her transferred? Because she needed me. And now she's awake. She'll recover, go back to her wealthy life, and you'll be the black doctor who took care of her. Nothing more. Protect yourself, Bridge. But Beckett feared it was already too late for protection. 2 weeks after waking, Marlowe was moved from ICU to a private recovery room. Her physical therapy progressed well, though she struggled with fatigue and occasional headaches. Beckett continued as her primary physician despite pressure from multiple sources to step back. Cordelia cornered him one afternoon. Dr. Rhodes, I need to speak with you. About Marlowe. What about her? She talks about you constantly. Dr. Rhodes said this. Dr. Rhodes thinks I should rest. She's become dependent on your approval. That concerns me. It's normal for patients to feel connected to doctors who've cared for them through trauma. This feels like more than normal attachment. And Dr. Rhodes, I need to be frank. You're a brilliant doctor. You saved my daughter's life, but you're also a black man, and Marlowe is a white woman from a prominent family. People will make assumptions if she shows too much interest. Are you asking me to stop treating her? I'm asking you to maintain appropriate boundaries. Marlowe is vulnerable right now. She doesn't need complications. What Cordelia really meant, don't get ideas about my daughter. Know your place. Beckett kept his expression neutral. I've always maintained appropriate boundaries. Marlowe is my patient, that's all. Good. Let's keep it that way. But maintaining boundaries became harder when Marlowe started asking personal questions. Tell me about yourself, Dr. Rhodes. You know everything about me from my medical history. I know nothing about you. There's not much to tell. I'm a doctor. That's my life. Family. Sister in Philadelphia. Mother passed away 5 years ago. Father wasn't in the picture. I'm sorry about your mother. She was sick a long time. Liver disease. Watching her deteriorate is what made me want to become a doctor. To help people the way I couldn't help her. That's beautiful. Tragic, but beautiful. What about you? What made you become a CEO so young? Family expectation. Sterling Pharmaceuticals has been in my family for 3 generations. I inherited it at 28 when my grandfather died. Eldridge was supposed to be temporary CFO until I learned the business. 4 years later, he's still trying to control everything. Sounds complicated. Everything in my life is complicated. Except this. She gestured between them. Talking to you is easy. Why is that? Because I'm your doctor. There's no pressure, no performance. Or because you see me as a person, not a CEO or heiress or some impossible standard. Beckett. Can I call you Beckett? In professional settings, Dr. Rhodes is appropriate. But we're not in a professional setting. Right now, we're just 2 people talking. So, Beckett, do you ever see me as more than a patient? The question was direct and dangerous. Beckett knew he should deflect, maintain distance, cite ethics. Instead, he found himself being honest. Yes, I see you as someone brilliant and stubborn and fighting like hell to recover. I see someone who cares deeply about 2,000 employees, even while dealing with her own trauma. I see someone remarkable. But Marlowe, I'm still your doctor. That creates boundaries I can't cross. What if you weren't my doctor? But I am. And changing that isn't simple. Nothing worthwhile is simple. Before Beckett could respond, Granger Ellis appeared in the doorway. Tall, white, preppy, looking at Beckett with immediate hostility. "Marlo, darling, I came as soon as I heard you were awake. Your mother said you've been asking for me." "I haven't been asking for you, Granger." "Why are you here?" "To support you, and to discuss our future. The engagement we put on hold. Perhaps it's time to revisit that. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think." Beckett excused himself from Marlo's room as Granger settled into the chair he'd just vacated. In the hallway, he found Imani waiting. "That's the ex-fiancé?" "Apparently. He looks exactly like someone from her world. Rich, white, appropriately pedigreed. You see the problem? I'm not blind, Imani. Then you see that whatever you're feeling for Marlo Sterling, it doesn't have a future. She's going back to her life. You're the doctor who saved her. That's the extent of your role. You think I don't know that? I think you're forgetting it. Beckett, I love you like a brother, but this is going to hurt. And the worst part? When it's over and she's moved on, you'll still be the black doctor who got too attached to a white patient. That narrative will follow you." Inside Marlo's room, a different conversation was unfolding. "Granger, we broke up. You ended our engagement because you said I was married to my work. What changed?" "I was hasty. Seeing you in this hospital bed, it made me realize what I lost. Marlo, we were good together. We come from the same world, understand the same pressures. We should try again. I don't love you anymore. Love develops. We have partnership, shared history, compatible lives. That's more important than romance. Is that what you told yourself when you cheated on me with Eldridge's wife?" Granger had the grace to look embarrassed. "That was a mistake. That was a pattern. You cheated twice that I know of, probably more I didn't catch. Why would I take you back? Because your parents approve. Because the board would be relieved. Because a stable partnership is what Sterling Pharmaceuticals needs right now. So, you want me for business stability? That's your pitch? I want you because we make sense together. Marlo, that doctor you've been talking to constantly, he's your physician. Whatever you think you're feeling is just gratitude and trauma bonding. Once you're discharged, you'll see that. Don't tell me what I'm feeling. I'm being realistic. You're a white CEO from old money. He's a black doctor from a working-class background. You think your family will support that? You think society will accept it? You're setting yourself up for judgment and complications. Maybe complications are worth it if the person is worth it. And you think a doctor you met during a medical crisis is worth destroying your reputation and business relationships? Marlo, be smart about this." After Granger left, Marlo was furious and confused. She texted Waverly, "Get me Beckett's file. Personal information, background, everything." Waverly responded immediately, "That's invasive and probably illegal. What's going on? I need to understand him. Need to know if what I'm feeling is real or just trauma response. Talk to him instead of investigating him." Novel concept, I know. That evening, Beckett returned for evening rounds. Marlo stopped him before he could start his examination. "Granger was here, trying to reconcile. He said I'm just experiencing trauma bonding with you, that what I'm feeling isn't real. Is he right? I'm not qualified to diagnose your feelings, Marlo. As my doctor, what do you think is happening? Honestly, I think you're recovering from massive trauma. Your brain is healing. Your emotions are complicated. It's natural to feel connected to people who've cared for you during crisis. So it's not real? I didn't say that. But Marlo, you need time to recover, to get back to your normal life, to figure out who you are post-accident before making decisions about relationships. What if I already know what I want? Then you should be certain it's not just gratitude or rebellion or trauma before acting on it. Rebellion? Against what? Against your family's expectations, against Granger's assumptions, against the life you had before the accident. Sometimes near-death experiences make people want to change everything. That's normal. But those feelings should be examined carefully. You think I'm using you as rebellion? I think you're a brilliant woman dealing with complicated emotions during recovery. I think taking things slowly is wise. And I think, he paused, choosing words carefully, I think you deserve someone who can be fully present without professional complication. What if I want you? Complications and all. Then we should talk about it when you're discharged and no longer my patient, when the power dynamic is different, when you've had time away from this hospital to think clearly. That sounds like a doctor's answer, not Beckett's answer. Right now, I have to be your doctor. Beckett's answer will have to wait. 3 weeks after waking, Marlowe was cleared for discharge. Her physical recovery was remarkable. Full motor function, no cognitive deficits, strong progress in therapy. Beckett signed her release with mixed feelings. You're cleared to go home with restrictions, he told her during their final consultation. No driving for 6 weeks. Physical therapy 3 times weekly. Follow-up appointments with me every 2 weeks to monitor progress. And Marlowe, no returning to full-time work immediately. Your body and brain need rest. 2 weeks, that's when I go back. That's dangerously soon. It's necessary. Sterling Pharmaceuticals won't survive without me much longer. Eldridge is destroying everything my grandfather built. Then hire a temporary CEO, delegate. But don't sacrifice your health for a company. You sound like you care. I do care. That's not changing just because you're being discharged. Marlowe stepped closer. Then come to dinner with me tomorrow night, not as doctor and patient, as 2 people who want to know each other better. Marlowe, you said we should talk when I'm discharged, and the power dynamic is different. I'm being discharged. The dynamic is changing. So, dinner, yes or no? Beckett knew he should say no. Should cite ethics, complications, the impossibility of their different worlds. Instead, he said, yes, but somewhere quiet. I don't do fancy restaurants. My place then. I'll cook, or attempt to cook. I'm told I'm terrible at it, but you're a doctor. You can treat any food poisoning I caught. After she left, Dr. Halston Kerr called Beckett into his office. I heard you're seeing Marlowe Sterling socially now that she's been discharged. How did you? Hospital gossip travels fast. Beckett, I need to say this carefully. You saved that woman's life. You're an exceptional doctor, but dating a former patient, especially one from such a different background, that comes with complications. I'm aware. Are you? Because the hospital board is already asking questions. Some members are uncomfortable with the optics. A black physician dating a wealthy white former patient. They worry about accusations of impropriety or opportunism. I didn't pursue her. She pursued me. That doesn't matter to people who see what they want to see. Beckett, I'm not forbidding this, but I'm advising caution. If this relationship becomes public, you'll face scrutiny. Make sure she's worth it. That evening, Beckett's sister Kendra called. A little bird told me you're dating a millionaire CEO. Want to explain? There's nothing to explain. We're having dinner, that's all. Is this the coma patient you've been obsessed with for 2 months? I wasn't obsessed. I was concerned. You called me every night, updating me on her condition. You worked double shifts to monitor her. You fought her family to keep treating her. That's not normal doctor behavior. She needed advocacy, and you needed her. Beckett, I'm worried. This woman, she's white, wealthy, from a completely different world. What happens when reality hits? When her family objects? When society judges? Then we'll deal with it. You sound like you're already in love with her. I'm not. I barely know her outside of medical context. Then be careful getting to know her. Because, brother, you fall hard and you fall completely. If she's not serious about you, this will destroy you. The next evening, Beckett arrived at Marlowe's penthouse, a stunning space with city views and furniture that cost more than his annual salary. She answered the door in jeans and a sweater, looking more relaxed than he'd ever seen her. Welcome to my humble apartment, she said with a slight smile. Humble, right. Marlowe, this place is incredible. It's home. Come in. Fair warning, I wasn't lying about my cooking skills. I ordered from an Italian place, and I'm pretending I made it. Honest, I appreciate that. Over dinner, they talked about everything except medicine and business. Beckett learned about her childhood. Lonely despite privilege, raised by nannies while her parents built their empire, valued for accomplishments rather than personhood. I was 8 when I realized my parents loved Sterling Pharmaceuticals more than they loved me, she said quietly. They missed every school event, every birthday, every moment that mattered, but they never missed a board meeting. That must have been painful. It was reality. I learned early that love is conditional, that worth comes from achievement. It made me driven. It also made me lonely. Is that why you agreed to marry Granger? Someone who understood that world? Partly, but mostly because he was there and I was tired of being alone. Then I realized being with him was lonelier than being actually alone, so I ended it. Do you regret that? Not for a second. Granger is nice enough, but he saw me as a merger, not a partner. He wanted access to Sterling Pharmaceuticals, not me. When the engagement ended, he was more upset about losing business connections than losing me. His loss. Is it? Beckett, you've seen my life. The family drama, the business chaos, the expectations. Why would you want to be part of that? Because between all the chaos, I see you. And Marlo, you're remarkable. The way you care about your employees despite your own trauma. The way you fight for what matters. The way you challenge me to be honest instead of hiding behind professional distance. That's worth complications. Even racial complications? Because Beckett, we need to talk about that. You're black, I'm white. We're from completely different backgrounds. People are going to judge us. I'm aware. Question is whether you're ready for that judgment. I've been judged my whole life. At least this time it would be for something real instead of arbitrary standards. They talked until midnight, and when Beckett finally left, he knew something fundamental had shifted. He was falling for Marlo Sterling, completely, and there was no going back. Over the next month, Beckett and Marlo navigated the complicated beginning of their relationship. She attended his recommended follow-up appointments, where he maintained professional composure despite personal feelings. Outside the hospital, they went on actual dates, quiet dinners, walks through Boston Common, conversations that deepened their connection. But complications arose quickly. Rosalind Drake, the hospital administrator, called Beckett in for a meeting. Dr. Rhodes, we need to discuss your relationship with Marlo Sterling. My personal life is not hospital business. It becomes hospital business when board members express concern. Some feel your relationship with Ms. Sterling began while she was your patient. That creates ethical questions. Nothing inappropriate happened while she was my patient. We started dating after her discharge. But feelings developed before that. Dr. Rhodes, I'm not accusing you of misconduct, but the optics concern some board members, particularly given the racial dynamics. Racial dynamics. Say what you actually mean, Rosalind. Some board members are uncomfortable with an interracial relationship between a black physician and a wealthy white former patient. They worry about accusations that you leveraged your position. That's racist nonsense, and you know it. I agree, but I'm warning you. There's scrutiny. Be prepared for questions about your professionalism. Meanwhile, Marlo faced her own challenges. She'd returned to Sterling Pharmaceuticals against Beckett's advice, immediately plunging into the chaos Eldridge had created. During a board meeting, Flint Montgomery, one of her most trusted members, pulled her aside. Marlo, we need to discuss the elephant in the room. You're dating your doctor, the one who treated you during your coma. I'm dating someone I care about who happens to have been my doctor. Different framing. The board sees potential conflicts. Some are questioning whether you're thinking clearly post-accident. Dating someone so quickly after waking from a coma, it looks impulsive. My relationship is not board business. It becomes board business when shareholders question your judgment. And Marlo, I need to be honest. Some members are uncomfortable with the interracial aspect. They worry about image, about perceptions. Then those members can resign. Flint, I'm not hiding my relationship to make racist board members comfortable. Beckett is brilliant and kind. I'm lucky to have him. If people have a problem with that, it's their problem, not mine. The public scrutiny intensified when a Society columnist published a piece. Sterling heiress's surprising romance. CEO dating doctor who treated her during coma. The article speculated about everything. Whether the relationship was appropriate, whether Beckett had taken advantage of a vulnerable patient, whether Marlo was experiencing some post-traumatic rebellion. The racial undertones were clear without being explicit. That evening, Beckett showed up at Marlo's penthouse, visibly upset. Did you see the article? I saw it. Beckett, it's garbage. Ignore it. I can't ignore it. People are questioning my ethics, my professionalism, my intentions, and Marlo, the racial implications. They're saying I'm opportunistic, that I'm using you for status or money. That's the stereotype black men face when dating wealthy white women. Anyone who knows you knows that's not true, but most people don't know me. They see a black doctor and a white millionaire and make assumptions. Marlo, this is what I warned you about. The judgment, the racism, the complications. So what? We stop dating because people are judgmental? I'm saying we need to consider whether this is sustainable, whether fighting these battles is worth it. Is being with me worth it? Yes, but I need to know, is being with me worth it for you? When your board questions your judgment? When society pages gossip? When your parents express their obvious disapproval? Am I worth those complications? Absolutely. Beckett, you're the most real thing in my life. Everything else, the company, the wealth, the expectations, that's performance. You're genuine. That's worth any complication, even if it costs you professionally. My company's worth is measured in dollars. What we have is measured in something more valuable. I'm not giving that up because people are small-minded. They held each other. Two people from different worlds choosing connection despite every obstacle. 2 months into their relationship, it was time to meet families. Kendra invited them to Sunday dinner in Philadelphia, eager to assess the woman who'd captured her brother's heart. "Your sister's going to hate me," Marlo said during the drive. "She's going to interrogate you. There's a difference." At Kendra's house, modest but warm, Marlo felt out of place in ways she'd never experienced. Kendra's assessment was immediate and thorough. "So, you're the millionaire CEO my brother's been obsessing over. I'm Marlo, and I hope I'm more than my job title. We'll see. Beckett talks about you constantly. Marlo's so brilliant. Marlo's handling her recovery amazingly. It's nauseating, honestly." Over dinner with Kendra's husband Emmett and their 2 kids, Marlo was questioned extensively about her intentions. "What do you see in my brother?" Kendra asked bluntly. "Everything. He's brilliant, compassionate, dedicated. He saved my life and then showed me what living means. I'm incredibly lucky. And when your wealthy family objects, when your business world judges, what happens to Beckett then? I stand by him. Always. Easy to say, harder to do when reality hits. Marlo, I need you to understand something. My brother has dealt with racism his entire life. He's navigated white spaces where he's always questioned, always needing to prove himself twice as hard. Your world is going to amplify that. Are you prepared to witness that without making it about your guilt or discomfort? I'm learning. I won't pretend I understand his experiences, but I'm committed to supporting him, to using my privilege to advocate when appropriate, to being a good partner." After dinner, Kendra pulled Marlo aside. "I like you. You're more thoughtful than I expected. But Marlo, if you hurt my brother, if this is some post-trauma fling and you're going to bail when things get complicated, I'll make your life hell. Clear?" "Crystal clear. And Kendra, I'm not going anywhere." Meeting Marlo's parents was significantly worse. Cordelia and Preston hosted dinner at their estate, and their displeasure was palpable from the moment Beckett arrived. "Dr. Rhodes," Preston said coolly, "how unexpected to see you socially." "Mr. Sterling, thank you for having me. We didn't really have a choice," Marlo insisted. Over formal dinner, the interrogation was relentless. "Tell us about your family, Dr. Rhodes," Cordelia said with false sweetness. "My mother was a nurse. She passed away 5 years ago. My sister Kendra is a social worker in Philadelphia. I was raised in a working-class neighborhood, put myself through medical school with loans and scholarships." "How industrious," Cordelia said, in a tone that made it sound like an insult. "And your father?" Preston asked. "Not in the picture. He left when I was young." "I see." Preston's judgment was clear. "Marlo mentioned you're a neurologist at Boston General. Do you have private practice aspirations? Or are you content with hospital employment?" The implication, that hospital employment was somehow beneath them, was obvious. "I'm content doing meaningful work. Titles and private practice don't interest me as much as helping patients." "How noble," Cordelia murmured. After dinner, Marlo confronted them. "You were horrible, condescending and barely concealing your disapproval. Why?" "Because this relationship is inappropriate," Preston said bluntly. "He's your former doctor, Marlo. That creates ethical concerns, which we've addressed. I'm no longer his patient. We started dating after my discharge. There's nothing inappropriate. Beyond the obvious class differences, the racial aspect, there it is. You're upset because Beckett's black. We're concerned because you're from completely different worlds. He has student loans, you have a trust fund. He works for a salary, you own companies. These differences matter. They don't matter to me. And frankly, your racism matters more than any class difference. Beckett is remarkable. I'm lucky to have him. You should be happy I found someone genuine instead of another Granger who wants me for business access. Granger comes from a good family. Granger cheated on me repeatedly. Beckett has been nothing but honest and supportive. If you can't see the difference, that's your failing, not mine." In the car afterward, Beckett was quiet. "I'm sorry about them," Marlo said. "Don't apologize for their prejudice. But Marlo, you see now what we're up against? Your family will never accept me. Not really. I'll always be the black doctor who isn't good enough for you. Then they lose access to me. Beckett, I choose you. Over their approval, over their expectations, over their racism. I choose you, even if it costs you their support. Especially then. Their support comes with strings I'm tired of managing. Your love comes with honesty I've never had. That's an easy choice. 3 months into their relationship, disaster struck. A rival pharmaceutical company filed a lawsuit against Sterling Pharmaceuticals, claiming Marlowe's post-accident judgment was impaired and her business decisions should be invalidated. The lawsuit specifically cited her relationship with Beckett as evidence of poor judgment. "They're using us against you," Beckett said, reading the court filings in Marlowe's office. "Claiming your relationship with me proves you're not thinking clearly post-accident. It's a business tactic. They're trying to destabilize the company by questioning my competence. But they're using our relationship, specifically the interracial aspect, as proof you're being reckless. Marlowe, they're weaponizing racism against you. Then we fight it, together." But the pressure intensified from all sides. The Sterling Pharmaceuticals board held an emergency meeting, with several members demanding Marlowe step down temporarily. "Your relationship with Dr. Rhodes has become a liability," one board member argued. "It's affecting company reputation and giving ammunition to competitors. My personal life is irrelevant to my business competence," Marlowe fired back. "Is it? You started dating your doctor immediately after waking from a coma. That shows questionable judgment. It shows I'm capable of recognizing genuine connection, something this board clearly struggles with." Flint Montgomery defended her. "Marlowe's business decisions have been sound. Company performance is strong. Her personal life is not board business." But 3 board members resigned in protest. Sterling Pharmaceuticals stock dropped, and Marlowe's parents threatened to vote against her at the next shareholder meeting. Meanwhile, Beckett faced his own crisis. The hospital board called a hearing to investigate potential ethical violations in his treatment of Marlowe. "Dr. Rhodes," the chair began, "we've received complaints that your relationship with Ms. Sterling began while she was your patient. That constitutes a violation of medical ethics." "My relationship with Ms. Sterling began after her discharge. While she was my patient, I maintained complete professionalism." "But you admit to developing feelings during her treatment." "I admit to caring about a patient's recovery. Any feelings beyond professional concern developed over time and were never acted upon while she was under my care." Several staff members report you spent excessive time with Ms. Sterling during her coma, hours beyond required examination. You spoke to her, held her hand, showed personal investment. That suggests inappropriate attachment. "I provided compassionate care to a critically ill patient. Talking to coma patients is established therapeutic practice. Nothing I did violated ethics or protocols." Yet, immediately after her discharge, you began a romantic relationship. The timing is suspicious. The timing is 2 adults choosing to explore mutual attraction once the professional relationship ended. That's not unethical. It's being human. The hearing concluded without resolution, leaving Beckett's career in limbo. That evening, both exhausted and defeated, they met at Marlowe's penthouse. "We're destroying each other's lives," Beckett said quietly. "Your company is in chaos. My career is being questioned. All because we're together. So what? We give up because people are prejudiced? I'm saying maybe the cost is too high. Marlowe, you could lose your company. I could lose my medical license. At what point do we acknowledge this isn't sustainable? At no point. Beckett, I'm not giving you up because people are racist and small-minded. Yes, we're facing complications, but that means fighting harder, not surrendering. And if we lose everything fighting, then we lose it together. But I'd rather lose everything with you than keep everything without you. That's easy to say when you have a trust fund to fall back on. I have student loans and rent. If I lose my license, I lose everything I've built. Then we'll build something else, together. Beckett, please don't give up on us. I'm not giving up. I'm being realistic about consequences. Screw consequences. I love you. That's the only reality that matters. Love doesn't pay bills or save careers. No, but it makes the fight worth it. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. The resolution came from an unexpected source. Dr. Imani Foster compiled a comprehensive report documenting Beckett's exemplary care of Marlowe. Every procedure, every decision, every moment of treatment. She presented it to the hospital board with a powerful testimony. Dr. Rhodes is being investigated because he's a black man who fell in love with a white patient after providing exceptional care. If he were white, This hearing wouldn't exist. You're punishing him for being human while black. That's not ethics. That's racism. The board, faced with irrefutable evidence of proper care and explicit accusations of racial bias, cleared Beckett of all charges. Meanwhile, Marlowe took a different approach. She called a press conference and addressed everything, publicly. I'm here to discuss Sterling Pharmaceuticals, my relationship with Dr. Rhodes, and the lawsuit questioning my competence. Yes, I was in a coma for 6 weeks. Yes, Dr. Rhodes was my physician. And yes, after my discharge, we began a relationship. Some people find this scandalous. I find it human. Dr. Rhodes saved my life. He provided exceptional medical care during my most vulnerable period. After my discharge, we discovered we had feelings for each other. We explored those feelings like two adults. That's not impaired judgment. That's living. The lawsuit against Sterling Pharmaceuticals uses my relationship as evidence of poor decision-making. What it actually demonstrates is desperation from competitors who can't beat us legitimately. Since my return, company performance has improved by 23%. We've launched 3 successful drugs, expanded to 2 new markets, and increased employment by 15%. Those are facts. My competence speaks for itself. As for the racial aspect, because yes, let's address that openly, I'm a white woman dating a black man. Some people are uncomfortable with that. That's their problem, not ours. Dr. Rhodes is brilliant, compassionate, and the best person I've ever known. I'm proud to be with him. If that costs me business relationships or family approval, so be it. Some things matter more than comfort. Sterling Pharmaceuticals will fight this lawsuit and win. I will continue leading this company with the same competence I've always shown. And I will continue my relationship with Dr. Rhodes, because love doesn't require anyone's approval. Thank you. The press conference went viral. Public opinion shifted dramatically. What had been scandalous became inspiring. A CEO refusing to hide her relationship, despite professional risk, resonated with people tired of prejudice. The lawsuit was quietly withdrawn. The board members who'd resigned were replaced with more progressive appointees. And Cordelia Sterling, surprisingly, called Marlowe to apologize. I was wrong about Dr. Rhodes. Watching how he supported you during this crisis, how he maintained his integrity despite attacks. He's a good man. I'm sorry I couldn't see that initially. 1 year after waking from her coma, Marlowe and Beckett stood together at a hospital fundraiser. He'd been promoted to chief of neurology. She'd expanded Sterling Pharmaceuticals significantly. Together, they'd started a foundation supporting interracial couples facing discrimination. Can you believe it's been a year? Marlowe asked. A year since you woke up and my life got complicated? Yes, I believe it. Do you regret the complications? Not for a second. Best complications I've ever experienced. 2 years later, they married in a ceremony that blended both their worlds. Kendra as maid of honor, Flint officiating, families from both sides attending despite initial reservations. In her vows, Marlowe said, Beckett, you literally brought me back to life. Then, you showed me what living means. You fought beside me through judgment and discrimination. You've maintained your integrity despite pressure to compromise. I promise to keep fighting beside you, to keep learning and growing, to keep choosing you every day. I love you permanently. In his vows, Beckett said, Marlowe, when you woke from that coma and looked at me, I saw recognition in your eyes. You knew my voice. You knew I'd been there. That moment, that connection, changed everything. You've challenged every assumption, fought every prejudice, stood firm when easier options existed. I promise to keep being worthy of that loyalty, to keep loving you fiercely, to keep building a life that honors both our truths. I love you, completely. 5 years later, they had built something extraordinary. Beckett ran a successful neurology practice focused on underserved communities. Marlowe had restructured Sterling Pharmaceuticals to prioritize affordable drug development. Together, they'd proven that love across every divide isn't just possible, it's powerful. They also had twins, Oliver and Celeste, who were growing up understanding that family comes in all shades and love conquers all categories. How did you meet Daddy? 4-year-old Oliver asked one evening. Daddy was Mommy's doctor when Mommy was very sick, Marlowe explained. He took care of me when I couldn't take care of myself. And when I got better, we realized we liked each other very much. That's weird. Doctors aren't supposed to marry patients. Technically, I stopped being Daddy's patient before we started dating, Beckett added. But yes, it was unconventional. The best things usually are. As the children ran off to play, Marlowe leaned against Beckett. Can you believe where we are? From ICU to this? From me talking to you in a coma to you being my wife? No, I can't believe it, but I'm grateful for it. Even with all the complications we faced, especially because of the complications, they proved what we have is real. Strong enough to survive scrutiny, judgment, racism, all of it. Marlowe, I'd go through it all again for this. Me too. Best awakening I ever had. Best patient I ever treated. They kissed, two people who'd started in the most clinical of settings and built the most genuine of loves, proving that sometimes the most unlikely beginnings lead to the most beautiful endings. A black doctor had tended to a white millionaire CEO in a coma. When she suddenly woke up, she saw him, really saw him, and recognized love. And they spent the rest of their lives proving that when you choose connection over comfort and love over prejudice, anything becomes possible, including happily ever after.